I'm going to go see the guys at Incus to have some proper, I guess, like run analysis to kind of look at exactly how I'm running. They've got an expert who can kind of say, here are some drills that will help with my running to help prevent some of the injuries that I keep getting and hopefully make me faster is the plan. Quite a lot of niggles on and off the last few years. So kind of want to try and get to the bottom of that and get to a point where I'm just consistently running pretty much all the time. And then the other thing is also looking at where can I be more efficient, get faster, like obviously in the sort of shorter PTO distance races and 70.3s now, the speed at which people are running is a lot faster than what I'm currently doing. So he was going to have a little look when I visited them last year, but that was kind of mid Achilles issues, so I couldn't really run. So it wasn't really very helpful to look at. Excited to kind of get his take, see what he thinks I might be able to do better and go from there. And I'll let him explain more of that. So that's something that I'll be really interested to then get their sort of eyes on perspective of, can they see something there? Is it something I can work on? I don't think it always means there's like an issue. I think obviously some people have slightly different length legs, etc. Or most people are going to have a slightly more dominant side, but that's one of the things I'll be interested in looking at. So I think for me, a successful day would be just having some real insights of, here is something that you can work on that will either help an imbalance or will just generally help your running get better. So I think I've definitely seen, for me, like having a consistent block of running obviously results in me running better. I've never done a huge amount of like run technique or drills or anything like that. So I guess I'm more interested in that perspective of, is there more I can do on that side that will help generally get me more efficient? Because I think, again, for sort of Ironman and the longer distance running, you don't really need to be that fast. You just kind of need to be really efficient so you can keep that speed across like a marathon. That for me would be a success, just having a few little takeaways that I can work on. We wanted to look at a couple of things mainly. One was general running and how I run, and if there's anything obvious from that. We also wanted to look at how I run under fatigue. So usually because you exacerbate the things that you do not as well when you're a bit fatigued, but also to see, like, do I run a bit differently? Is there something else we need to think about? Obviously, generally in a triathlon, you're running pretty fatigued anyway from the swim and bike, let alone at the end of an Ironman when you're kind of halfway through a marathon as well. So we wanted to look at that. And we also wanted to do just a bit of lactate testing just to check my heart rate zones so that when I'm doing some of my sessions going forward, I know that I'm in the right kind of zone, because it's been a long time since I've done any run lactate testing. Did a bit of a session in their little lab. I say lab, it's not really a lab, but we made it into a lab. And we did like a bit of a warm up, just getting ready for it. We then did an 8-minute block at theoretically 70.3 pace, but I had to dial it back a bit because I'm not fit enough to run at that pace yet, given I've been running for about 3.5 weeks. Haven't really done any sessions yet, so kept it pretty conservative, kept that at 4-minute Ks. So I did one 8-minute block for that. We then did a ramp test to do the lactate testing, and then another 8-minute block at the 4-minute Ks to get the fatigue running. And we took some video of it, and we just had Lewis looking so that he could pick up on anything he thought I could work on. And there were lots of little things, as we'll see. So that is exciting, that I think this year we can make hopefully some good improvements on the run side as well.
Yeah, it comes round, you kind of kick out and then you land it on the outside. The foot actually slightly turns out on that one. So you see that. If you had an angle from the front, you'd see the right foot actually does that more than the left. Which is why I was saying that could be linked to what you're seeing with the forces, the acceleration, deceleration. Front of the treadmill is a marker. So we're looking at that and where the foot gets in relation to that. So left one gets well above it, that one kind of touches the edge, left one goes further in front. That one is just about getting there, whereas that one goes well above. So that one then it's similar to that thing we were talking about, the hamstring. Then it exaggerates the next one as a result of exaggerating that one. But in full speed, it certainly looked like the left, despite you getting out and underneath, does kick out that little bit further. So again, none of us are perfect. If we analyse anybody at this speed, we'd see these sort of things. And everyone does favour certain sides. We're never going to make anybody symmetrical. Nobody is. Like, even you look at Kipchoge, it's just not possible. But I do think there's stuff that we can work on. That's quite a nice shot though. You do get that angle's quite good. Maybe we could take that slightly forward, give you a bit more of a lean angle, slightly, but we've been picky. But generally that's pretty good. And you do get a nice toe off as well. But then it's about the next bit that we're going to work on today. So if you look at the takeoff on the first side, it's really solid. And what I mean by that is, so like from ankle, knee and hip, it's all in line, even if we scroll that back a little bit. What we see on the other side is, I'll play it, it is a subtle drop in to get the movement from the hip down to the knee. It's very subtle. Achilles and calf issues on both sides, like the past history, but with the most recent issue presenting on the left Achilles tendon, generally irritable and grumbly when running, but you now have SNC input from Dane, but what we're looking more specifically at here is how you move in the lab on the treadmill. The findings from that through the video footage and just general observation were extending at the knee when pulling through and not recycling back down underneath the body, right foot pointing out and heel pulling across the midline, more of a forefoot toe strike on ground contact, which tends to be out in front of the body and not underneath. So then that then leads to the prescription, like what are we trying to get from these? If we look at extending at the knee and not pulling back through and recycling down, okay, well, how do we fix that? So that's where the B skip is so important for you. If we look at the forefoot toe strike, again, the straight leg scissor should, if you start pointing that right foot out the side, you'll see it visually.
Yeah.
But it's also teaching you to stop that toe contact, getting that nice deep sound. And then generally, like, I'm just a big fan of like black and white. So like watches, devices, everything that's in there, it's all great information to give us this sort of stuff. But the true test will come with not being injured. Like, it is as clear as day. Like, and if you're not injured and the numbers are looking better and the data's looking better, then happy days, we're getting somewhere. But that will be, you know, the true test. I think one thing I would say is don't expect to master it all straight away. It takes time. Don't be worried if you get some grumbling. You do want some, but what I would be always looking for is improvements over time. Will said it perfectly before at the meeting, like with him, like sometimes you've got to go through that grumbly period to get the adaptations. But with that in mind, make sure there's adequate rest in there. Yeah, you're not looking to reinvent the wheel, you're just looking to give yourself a few little better few cues. The real positive for me in all that was how quickly you were picking a drill up off one demo and one demo yourself. That's like, was really impressive. And that dribble drill was probably the most promising for me because you got that like that, and that's where you're going to get that nice reactivity and recycling down. So
Cool.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Happy with that, boss?
Buzzing with that, mate. Absolutely buzzing it. As long as
Do it again in summer when I'm fit.
That'd be quite nice to
Actually,
retest.
Definitely.
Yeah.
good for that.
And I can maybe I can compare it to the bike as well. We'll see.
Yeah.